Okay, so hi, good morning, everyone. I am Julie Sharma from Do It. And today I want to show you something that a colleague on campus asked me recently. He had sent out a survey where it was a multi-select question, and I'm actually going to start sharing my screen so you can see an example of what I mean. So it was something like this, and give me a thumbs up if you can see the form now, the activity interest form. So I know that everyone's seeing that, or say yes, someone, yeah, Sean did, got it, great. But you didn't get the reaction. So it was hard for me to see, that you did. Great. Okay, so let me know if you've ever created something like this, a multi-select question. And then when you get the data on the back end, you're like, how do I know how many people picked Excel tips? Or how do I know how many people picked yoga? Or in this case, this form says, all right, we're going to schedule things, at least 10 people are interested. How many people selected each of these? When you get the data, it ends up looking something like this. You have the person who filled out the form, but then you have one cell with everything they selected. So go ahead and type in chat now if you have been there and done that, and you unfortunately had a bunch of data and you had to figure out how to analyze it. Has this happened to anyone? Or am I the only one? Am I like the only sad person this has done this? Thank you. All right, we've got some people. I think everyone has, all right? All right, perfect. So that is the stage that I'm setting today. How do we deal with this? There's lots of different ways. What I would recommend in retrospect is make your form a little different. But if you already have the data collection, how do you handle it? So I'm going to jump back to my slides for a moment so we can take a look at what we're going to do, but this will be interactive. So I invite you to get your system set up here so you can try everything out in a moment with me. But before we talk about that, let's see what we're going to do actually. And we already talked about letter A here. The problem, you get a whole bunch of data in one cell. It's hard to work with. If you love pivot tables, you can't pivot that. So how do we separate it? And the secret trick I want to show you today is Power Query. So we are going to bring that messy data into Power Query, and we're going to split it. So every answer is its own cell and clean it up. And we are going to create a list of names. So I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. And we're going to create a separate list that counts every person or every time an activity was selected. And then we're going to bring that data back into Excel. So then you could pivot it or chart it or whatever you need to do with it next. We're not going to talk about that part today. But there are a couple of extra things in the slides I don't know that we will get to today, but I put them in there if you want to dive further into this, because has anyone gone down the Power Query pivot hole? Pivot hole, listen to me. Has anyone gone down the Power Query rabbit hole? That's the right one. So when I started learning about it, I down. There's so much you can do with it. I wanted to give you a little more if this kind of gets you interested in this tool, because it's extremely powerful. All right, is everybody ready to try this out? So if you've been in my workshops before, if you don't look excited, I make you do jumping jacks. So I'm going to look at the camera feeds and look for excited faces. I think Maria wants to do jumping jacks. I don't know, but it kind of looks like it. No. All right, let's just start getting into the data. Okay, so if you are looking at the slides, and let me put that link in chat for a moment here. And these are also in calendars. Thank you, Catherine, for putting them in the event for me. If you jump into those slides, we are looking at slide number 4. This has a link to the file we're going to work with today. So if you can download that and follow along with me, you'll be able to try all of this out. Pivot hole, yes, Maria. I don't know what a pivot hole is, but new phrase. All right, so I'm on slide 3. I'm going to click on the demo event interest CSV link, and I will see a preview like this, and I'm going to download it. So again, try this out with me. It works in Excel Mac, Excel Windows, and Excel Online. So we just need to get this data downloaded to your computer. Now, can someone confirm for me in chat or come off mute? Are you able to get to this link from the slides or from the link I put in chat and see a screen like I see? Yes, Catherine, it works. Jessica, it works. Sean's giving me the thumbs up. Awesome. All right. So when you get to this screen where it says demo event interest near the top left, you should see a little download button near the top left also. So you're going to click that. All you need to do is download it to your computer. We're not going to open it right now. You just need it on your computer. So I'm going to do that as well. I'm going to download it. And then I got the little notice here that it was downloaded. And it sounds like somebody is unmuted. If you could mute for now so that we don't have background noise, that would be great. Thank you. All right, so it downloaded to my computer. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to start with a clean Excel workbook. All right, so I'm going to open up Excel here. And actually, this is what I said I was going to show you. This would be a helpful way to look at our data, right? Instead of seeing all of the answers in one cell, we want to see one cell for each activity that a person picked. So then I could maybe tell all the people who want the campus walk, I have all their names in one place, all the people who want Excel in one place, et cetera, et cetera. This is what we're going to be creating. But actually right now I want to create an empty sheet. So open up Excel and you're going to create a blank workbook. And again, the tools that I'm showing you today work in Excel on Windows, Mac, and Excel Online. It's new in Excel Online. I'm going to go ahead and click to create a blank workbook, and I am something like this view. Yes, I'm going to put the links in chat again. And Sean, if anyone else joins new, could you put the links in chat for me as people join so they can follow along if they want?
Will do.
Thank you. All right, so give me a thumbs up if you are planning to follow along and you have an empty sheet open and you downloaded the demo data. Let's see how many people are ready here. And if you prefer to just watch, that's fine as well. You can also give me a thumbs up. And I put the links in chat again if you needed to download those, but right now just open up an empty Excel file. All right. All right, so we are starting in an empty Excel file because we are going to use Power Query to bring our data in. So we are going to start in the Data tab. So in your Excel sheet, up near the top center, you're going to click across the top in the ribbon and click on the Data tab. And then if you haven't ever been in this tab before, I think it moved around recently, but we're going to go on the left-hand side here. Does everyone see where it says Get and Transform Data? And if you're following along on Mac or online, it looks a little different, but it's also in the left-hand corner of the Data tab. You're looking for this Get and Transform Data and the Get Data area. So on Windows, did anyone see what type of file type our download data was? I didn't point that out explicitly, but did anyone recall what we downloaded? Did we download an Excel file, a CSV? Yeah, so Catherine, Jessica are saying CSV. Exactly, it's a CSV. So what we're going to tell Power Query is I want to get data from a CSV. So we're on Windows, we're just going to click on the From Text /CSV. Is anyone joining me from Mac today? If you are on a Mac or if you're working on the online version of Excel, you're going to click on Get Data and Get Data again, and then you can choose CSV. But for my Windows users today, go ahead and click From Text CSV. And then you are going to find the file you downloaded. I'll go ahead and choose the one I just downloaded in our workshop today and click on Import. All right, and if anyone is just joining us, we are importing our data into Power Query. And then you should see a sort of preview of your data here. And I do want to point out that it says delimiter comma, and this means that what is delineating one column from the other, and it was a CSV, so it's a comma. Even though you see semicolons in column 2, we're not talking about that delimiter right now. All right, so from here, we're going to go ahead and click on Transform Data, and then your data is going to open up in Power Query. All right, and if you're following along or if you watched me do that, give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to Power Query, this probably looks a little bit strange, but we will talk a little bit about it. All right, and I do apologize. Power Query opens small and I cannot make it larger. So I hope that it is coming through okay in the screen share. And there are screenshots of everything I'll show in the slide. So if something looks too small in the screen share, you could take a peek there. Okay, so really briefly, the way Power Query works is it's designed to transform your data. Maybe you need to separate out columns. Maybe you need to add columns. Maybe you want to change the case or do some math or some kind of change to your data. You can also use it to combine things and all that kind of stuff. And once you're done working with your data here, you save it or excuse me, you load it back to Excel and then your data is in Excel. So this is sort of like a data workshop. You're cleaning it, you're trimming it, you're transforming it, whatever you need to do, it's in this Power Query tool here. So if I look at this data, there's something I notice at the top of my columns. Does anyone see something strange at the top of those two columns of data? And that would be these two main sections in the main part of the screen here. Does anyone see something there that maybe we want to, maybe that looks strange? And it might not be obvious. So the thing I'm saying is that we have two column headers. We have column 1, but we also have name. I want the column header to be name, not column 1. So when it brought it in, it didn't know that that was the header. So it made its own header, column 1, column 2. But I don't want to do that. So the first step I'm going to do is tell it what the headers are. So if you are in the Home tab, you can see there are 4 tabs to this tool. In the Home tab, about halfway across, we are going to click on the button that says Use First Row as Headers. So that's going to tell my data, this is actually what I want. So if you're following along with me, you go ahead and click on that button, Use First Row as Headers. And again, this is the Home tab about halfway across. So when I click on that, I will see now that my headers are called name and activity interests select all. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you see what I see on your screen, if you're following along or if you're just watching me. I know it's a little bit of a small view, but all right, fantastic. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to work with this activity interest column. What we want to do is pull it out so that every time someone picked keynote speaker, it's a separate row. So for Priya picked keynote speaker, Excel tips, and yoga. I want 3 rows for Priya. So the way we're going to do this is through a split function. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click on the transform tab at the top. Bless you. So we are going to head and click transform because we actually want to change the way the data looks. We're going to transform it. So go ahead and click the transform column or tab, transform tab near the top left. And now we're going to click and select the activity interest column. And so it will turn green to show it's like chosen. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the split column function. It's right in the center of the transform toolbar. And we're going to click the drop down here and we're going to choose by delimiter. So we are going to tell this tool how I want to split this up. So go ahead and select the split column by delimiter. And when you open up this menu, in Windows, it's pretty smart. It knows that we have semicolons between our values, so it's already populated that. But if you click here, you notice that there's a whole bunch of different ways you could split your column. We do want semicolon, so I'll leave that. But then here comes the magic part. Does everyone see really innocuous on my screen, advanced options? Well, you want to click on advanced options here. And it's going to open up the option to split by columns or rows. And what we want to do here is turn these into rows. And you're going to be amazed at, if you've ever done this manually, you're going to be amazed at how many clicks? 3 clicks? I didn't count. Just these few clicks can do in this tool. So if you're on Mac, the advanced options are a toggle button you have to select, but make sure you have rows and semicolon. And by default, it's splitting at each occurrence, which is what we want because we have multiple semicolons in many cells. And then go ahead and click OK. Ta-da! Okay, this is the part where everyone gets excited, or again, jumping jacks. I'm watching the video feed. Yeah, so it's possible if you don't have an updated version. I don't know what time in Excel world it added the rows function, but if you're seeing something different, you can send a screenshot of what you see later or try to update and see if you find that. You could also try Excel Online, which is going to automatically be updated. These functions work in Excel Online. All right, pretty cool, right? And for anyone who missed that, this is a really important thing. Look at your screen and tell me, where's the undo button? So let's say that you didn't want to do what you just did. Does anyone see undo? And this is kind of a trick question because there's no undo in Excel Power Query. Not in the way that you traditionally think, like Control Z, right? But if you look on the right-hand side, do you all see the list of applied steps on the right? Whenever you do something in Power Query, it gets recorded as a step that you took. So that the way this actually works is you can set up a cleaning structure, and when you feed new data into it, it'll happen automatically because it remembers the steps. So when you want to undo in Power Query, so if I want to show how to do that one more time, on the right-hand side under Applied Steps, I'm going to click on the X next to a step to undo it. So I will undo that split so I can show it one more time. And that's the way you would undo. You have to backwards in your steps. So one more time, let me show you how I did that. I selected the activity interest column. I selected the transform tab. I selected split column by delimiter. Then I have to make sure it says select or enter delimiter semicolon. On Mac, it automatically selects comma. So you need to make sure you pick semicolon. And then you have to look for advanced options and choose rows. So on Mac, there's an option at the top to toggle into advanced. In Windows, you have to open up this. And when you click OK, you get one row for every option. Okay, now, does anyone with an eagle eye see anything problematic about any of the values in the activity interests? I know we have a lot of good data eyes in this session today. So what issues do you see? Yeah. A lot of people see it. Extra spaces. So one of the things you cannot do in Power Query is I can't click into this cell and remove those. However, I can do it in bulk if I select the entire activity interests column. And I'm still in the Transform tab. This time I'm going to choose Format. And the Format menu has several options here that are really helpful. This one I want to do is Trim. So I want to trim these so it gets rid of my leading or trailing spaces. Clean is similar. I forget exactly what it does. Non-printable stuff, maybe paragraph marks, things like that. But in our scenario, Trim will be sufficient. So go ahead and click on Format and choose Trim, and then you'll lose those trailing spaces. And on the right-hand side, in Applied Steps, you'll see that new step gets added there too. Okay, so we're getting really close. But now all I need to do to get this in a list that's ordered so I can see all the people who picked yoga, all the people who picked the campus walk, I can simply sort it to get that list. So the way you could do that here, you could do it in Excel, of course, but to do that here, I'm going to click on the drop down in the top right corner of the activity interests column, and I'm going to choose to sort this from that menu. And then everything is sorted, and there's other ways you could do this, but this is a nice sorted list of all of the people and what they selected. All right, pretty cool, right? Is anybody feeling like this is, your world is blown? Because the first time I saw Power Query, I was pretty excited. And Maria was there with me basically when I first started playing with Power Query. So Teresa is loving it. Yeah, some really cool stuff. Okay, so let's take this one step farther. And let's say that I want this tool to count it up for me because I can only run the activities at least 10 people are interested. And I don't want to sit here and count rows. I want the tool to do it for me. So we are going to duplicate this and we are going to make a separate data point, a separate query with the counts in it. So follow along with me. Over on the left-hand side is the list of queries that you have going in this tool right now. Right now, it's just that one data set we brought in. But what I want to do is duplicate this, and then I'm going to change my duplicate just to be the counts. No names, just the activity and how many people selected it. So follow along with me. I'm going to select the demo event interest query on the left-hand side, and I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to choose duplicate. And this is simply going to make a copy of the current status of this query. All right, so once I click on duplicate, I will get two queries. Right now, they're exactly the same. But what I want to do is I want to rename my second query to be counts so I can tell them apart. So to do that, I'm going to right-click on that second query, and I'm going to choose rename. And then I will go ahead and call this counts. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to group my data and I want to count up how many people picked each activity. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the activity interests column again. And this time, once we've selected activity interests column, we are going to find the group by option. So in the transform tab, all the way to the left in Windows, we are going to select group by. So basically what we want to do is group it. So there's only one campus walk. There's only one Excel tips. There's only one yoga, all the other options. It's almost like a pivot function. All right, so I'm going to select group by, and what I want to do is group by the activity interest and count up how many names are listed for each activity interest. So by default, this is set up exactly like I want. I want to group by the activity interests column, and I want to add a new column that's a count of how many rows that name appears in, that activity appears in, basically. So I don't have to change anything in this tool, but if you're curious what else this tool can do, you can click around and see some of the other options. But for now, all I want to do is click on OK. And are you ready? This is exciting too. Bing. Ta-da! Cheryl is smiling. I'm going to pretend. I hope that means that you're like so excited about this tool. It's pretty amazing. Like if you have done this manually, right now you're just like saved a day, right? Take the rest of the day off. Ask your manager first, but you just save so much time. All right. So this is cool, right? So cool, so powerful. Now, if you're a programmer, you know, use Python, use R, something like that. But if you don't have those skills, this is a super accessible way to get this stuff cleaned up quickly. All right, so the last thing we need to do is get this data back in Excel so I can do whatever I need to do with it. So follow along with me. If you have these two awesome queries, in the top left corner, we're going to click on the Home tab. And then we're going to click on Close and Load, and it's going to bring these two tables back into my main blank Excel sheet that I started with. So I have that data and I can go off and do what I need to do with it. So again, the Home tab, and I'll click on Close and Load. And then when I get back to Excel, I'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, I have three tabs, but two of them are populated with my query data. So the Counts tab here has the data that I counted up how many times. And then the Demo Event Interest tab has my list sorted by name. All right, so I don't think I missed any questions, but if you have any questions, pop them in chat or unmute. And just because, you know, I want to do one other really cool thing, try this with me. So what I want you to try now is to open up the original file that you downloaded. And I want you to add a row. Let's pretend somebody else registered. And then if you haven't already been blown off your seat, wait for it. It will happen. So I opened my original sheet here. I'm going to pretend that we added a workshop. So in Priya's activity interests, after yoga, I'm going to add a semicolon and I'm going to add in awesome power query. It's a new session. We heard people like it, right? And then I'm going to save this. So I believe this is the one that I connected to. So I've saved my updated version there. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And now I want to come back into my data. And this is the power of Power Query. Do you remember all those steps that we set up? Every time it connects to a data set, it's going to do all those steps. It's going to make sure the header is right. It's going to split by semicolon. It's going to trim the empty space. It's going to sort them. It's going to count them. So I am going to click into my data tab here, and I'm going to click refresh all. And if you updated your download, your original data, and you saved it, try this as well. Keep your eye right here in this area at the top of my sheet here. And when I click refresh all, ta-da! Did you see it happen? Because the Power Query is like a set of steps that's memorized when my original data changes and I refresh it, I get the updated data. Okay, this is the part where you act impressed. Okay, all right. All right, that is what I wanted to show you today. And if you've never seen Power Query, what I recommend you do now, like right now, after you fill in the survey. Wait, no, tomorrow you get the survey, not after the survey. Before the snacks at the event tomorrow, open up this and do all of this again. Follow the steps all over again, because it takes repetition to figure these out. And then if you want more, you're just can't even believe what you just learned. Take a look at the end of my slides, because I show you a couple other things that you could do with this data. So for example, if you want every activity to be a column instead of a row, you could turn it into a column where you get one column for each activity and a number, 1 or 0, whether they attended. That's something you can do in like 2 more clicks in Excel Power Query. So that's an option in there. And then I show you a couple other things about bringing the data into Excel and working with it. So go and explore that and check that out. And yeah, I hope it gave you an idea of what this kind of tool can do. And it can do so much more. So have fun. And that's all.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
This was great. Thanks everybody for attending. Fill out the survey. See you tomorrow. Love Data Week. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
There it is. There it is.
Julie, that was great. Quick
Yeah, you're welcome.
question.
Yeah.
Can we do the opposite? Like I know we're at a time, so people have to leave. If everything's in like its own row, I'm guessing this is possible.
There's
Can
an
we do it so it
unpivot
kind of
function. There's a
puts
pivot
it?
function and an unpivot function. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna definitely play with this because this is great.
Yeah. In the slides, what I tend to do when I'm like, I'm pretty sure Power Query can do this, but I don't know how, is ask AI and they tell you all the steps. Teresa, there's also a language in Power Query called M. I don't know why they named it that, but in some cases you actually have to write program, like a little bit of code, kind of like a Visual Basic or something, to get it to do what you want. So one of the workshops I've done on Power Query was you take all the files in a folder and combine them into one with like a click of a button in Power Query, that kind of thing. And in some cases, you might have to write a little bit of M. But yeah, if you've got a data set and you think, if you have to transform it, merge it, clean it, you can merge rows, side, like VLOOKUP.
I'm always doing it, and I'm doing it in Excel, and I was like, oh, why do I need this? I could just do it in Excel, but it does seem a lot cleaner and a lot easier. So I definitely am gonna do a little bit of more research.
And it's got that audit trail, right, of exactly what you did. That's one of the things that I think is really good about it. So
thank you.
All right.
I'll be looking out for some workshops too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.